Welcome to what I have now dubbed an unexpected art interview. Slightly ironic considering the amount of work that goes into scheduling these, but the name works and it's funny. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Lar DeSouza. I'm a Canadian cartoonist and caricaturist here in Southern Ontario. I primarily, I guess I'm known for webcomics, Least I Could Do, and Looking for Group, the latter has been wrapped up, but Least I Could Do still going strong. And on my socials, I do a lot of random cartooning stuff. It's just my mental health cartoons.
Mental health cartoons. That sounds amazing. I'm always amused by any sort of mental health cartoon I see out there, especially because I live in Texas. I'm American. My co-host lives in Regina, but I'm American. I need all the mental health cartoons I can get through some days.
I like to say my art is my job, but it's also my hobby and it's also my therapy.
Exactly.
And since I'm pretty much tied to my desk anyhow, I used to keep a sketchbook, but now since I've been a digital artist for so long, if I get an idea, it's like I'm going to take 20 minutes, half an hour, or whatever, or sometime the end of the day, it's like this is my carrot reward for getting stuff done, and just open up a fresh file and draw an idea that's been plaguing me.
That's pretty sweet way to do it.
And then what do I do with it? I'll just post it to the world and let other people be disturbed by me.
Is disturbed, amused, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah. I mean, I've taken to making my own reaction memes, like my own self-caricature of like the Drake one that's kind of orange light and it's
Yes.
no, yeah. Like
yes.
I do that with me. Because I'll post something and people are like, Lar, no. And I'm like, Lar, yes.
I absolutely love that. So, I guess let's go back to the beginning. How did you first start as an artist? What was your introduction? What was the rabbit that led you down the rabbit hole?
It's one of those things, it's like every kid draws. Not all kids stop drawing. And I'm one of the kids who didn't stop. My older brother, Gerard, who's about a year and a half, 2 years older than I am, was the family artist. He knew from a very young age he wanted to be an animator. And I was just following along. My brother drew, so I drew. And he went into animation. I actually went into chemistry.
A little bit different path there.
It was just I took art in high school because it was, the easy credit and you needed an art credit. And so I took it. It was fine. I was, how old are you? Grade 9, whatever. I was just a snot like every other kid. I didn't quite get it. And I enjoyed it. And I just drew for myself all the time. I was always drawing the teachers and friends and that kind of thing. And it was just a hobby. And then when it came, choose a job, choose a career. And I went into chemistry. And the year I was at residence, my roommate, who was also in chemistry and was much more brilliant than I am at chemistry, charted me because he noticed that I would spend all my free time drawing. And so he charted me quite literally for a week and then presented findings for 7 days. Not counting for classes, meals, and sleep and homework, I had literally spent 50% of my free waking hours drawing, doing cartoons and art and fantasy drawing and whatever. And so I decided to take a year and take a 1-year art fundamentals class at the local college, and it gave me a little bit of everything. It gave me much more of what I wanted out of art. When I was in high school, I wanted to learn to draw everything, and instead we got these little bit of ceramic, make a cookie jar or something, and a little bit of painting and a little bit of calligraphy, and I wanted to learn like anatomy and perspective, and so I got all that. And after, I can't be a chemist. So the kind of the 3 streams were graphic design, didn't have much drawing, animation had way too much repetitive drawing, and illustration learned to draw everything. So I went for illustration. And that was my goal, was to be an illustrator, to do book covers and advertisements or whatever else. teachers hated cartooning. They just hated it's like, if you want to be a cartoonist, go be an animator. But when I graduated, my cartooning was my most marketable skill. And so I took another year of computer graphics. This was 1987-88. So this is pre-Windows, maybe DOS 1. This was the Macs had just come out that were just black and white, one button mouse. And most computer graphics were very, very proprietary, machines built for it. There wasn't really home computers and stuff. But that's what I went into, and I worked at for a couple of years. Then the babies came along, and my wife is a school teacher. I was doing sort of contract work. She had the steady job and the health benefits. I quit and became a stay-at-home dad for about 15 years and just kept drawing. And along that way, discovered caricature, that people would actually pay for that. So I did a lot of live caricature work, parties, weddings, bar mitzvahs, all of that, and just continued to draw cartoons for fun and show them and sell them at the local Toronto Star Trek convention. They had a little art show at the time. So once a year, I get all my cartoons together. And it just sort of grew from there. And then when the kids got old enough that they were in school full time, I spent about a year working on my portfolio, thinking I was going to get back into the traditional art race, as it were, doing magazine illustrations or books or whatever. And then the digital life claimed me. I met my writer, Ryan Somer, and he had the idea for this sort of entertainment editorial cartoon called Another News. Again, we were, webcomics were starting to be a thing. This is like 2002. So webcomics had been a thing a little bit for a few years, but we were doing something that really needed a TMZ or an entertainment rag, and those didn't exist yet. But doing celebrity caricatures was very good for my portfolio. So we worked together for a bit. In the meantime, he started another comic called Least I Could Do with another artist, and that was doing fine for about a year. That artist quit because he was just a college guy. Ryan asked me to take it over at that point, 2003. I should have said yes then, because we'll get to that. But I couldn't justify doing 2 free webcomics kind of thing in my spare time, and I wasn't ready to give up Another News yet because it was barely a year old. I was able to put him in touch with a friend of mine, Chad Porter. Chad did it for 2 years. Chad's a very good artist, but he's not a full-time artist. He didn't want to be a full-time artist. He's just a talented cartoonist. So he did it for a couple of years and said, you know what, I'm done with this. And I said, give me. So Ryan's writing had really improved, I think, because the first artist, Trevor, was good, but he was a college kid. And so Chad was better. And so Ryan's opportunities. And no offense to Chad, I'm better because I'm like 10 years older than he is, and I've got more professional training and more professional ambition.
You have had more experience and more time to build your skill than he has. So maybe one day he will reach your level, but you will still be years ahead.
He still does cartooning. He still does freelance stuff. He just wasn't interested in comic strips as much either.
That's also fair. It's not for everyone.
My day job was being an artist. He had a different, and so he'd do his day job and then come home in the evening and have to spend a few hours doing a comic, and it was exhausting him. Whereas I had the luxury of being a kept man with a wife who's got a good job. And I was still being house husband, and I was still, doing the school meetings. The kids were in primary. Our kids are also special needs. They're on the spectrum. So I was doing the doctor stuff that needed to be done and liaising with the school that needed to be done. So it was very comforting to have a parent at home for the girls. And so I was pursuing the freelance that way. I was doing the caricature evenings and weekends for parties or freelancing. So I had a more flexible schedule. So taking a couple hours in that day to do comics was a lot easier for me as well, to devote that time to it and not get exhausted by it. And so I took over, and that again sort of expanded the opportunities for Somer to write, because I gathered that there were things that Chad said, I'm not drawing that. It's too much work. It's too much whatever. For example, one of the very first strips we did was the characters in a boat to go on vacation. So like a yacht or a small yacht or boat or whatever. And Chad was just like, I'm not drawing a boat. I don't have time to do that kind of stuff. And I told Somers, like, you write it. It's my job to figure out how to draw it. So just give me the word and I'll figure it out. That really kind of emboldened both of us. And there was more than one strip where it's like, I love this. I don't know how I'm going to draw it. I guess we'll both find out when I get there.
Oh, I know that struggles. I do the audio editing, and so I do the sound design for another show that airs on the radio station, the Graveyard Tapes. And there have been times when it's just like, oh, this scene has a cartwheeling mannequin. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? I found a nice, like, plastic rattly noise and like a metal, like, clinking sound, and it worked. But it's just one of those, like, sure, I'll figure out what to do with that.
I don't know, you're sitting in the living room and suddenly you're in Helm's Deep. I'm like, I'll figure it out. Whatever, it's a comic, right? It's reality is what I choose to draw.
Exactly.
So that's been a lot of fun, and that's been 20 years. He's in Montreal, I'm in here in Southern Ontario, and emails back and forth every day, and it's gotten very much that we kind of each have a drawer in each other's brain where we keep our spare thoughts.
Oh, that is a fantastic mental image. I want to see how someone would draw that sort of mental image, because I feel like different artists would have different approaches, but that'd be so fun to see.
See, that happens to me a lot, where somebody will say something within my hearing, and it's just, or I'll see it on Blue Sky or Facebook, and it's suddenly like, ting, write that down for later. That's my carrot for the day, that I get to draw that. A couple days ago, a friend messaged me. It's like he's actually a professional Santa Claus and storyteller.
Oh, that's cool.
He was doing a Celtic event or something. And somebody said, I wonder if Sleipnir, I'm mispronouncing that, the Loki's, Odin's horse.
Sleipnir?
Yeah, which has it's a horse with 8 legs.
Yeah.
And they said, what if the legs were arranged like a spider's? That's a wild thought.
I've seen drawings of like the spider horse around. I don't know if it's
not a spider horse. It's a horse with 8 legs arranged like a.
I've seen a variation. I don't know if it was a drawing you did, but I've seen.
I like to say a good idea is a good idea. It's not surprising that more than one person comes up with it, as far as I'm concerned. You must know Terry Pratchett's work, the Discworld books.
Mm-hmm.
He has a theory in there when he was talking about, I can't remember the character's proper name, his Da Vinci type character, who attracts idea particles. Idea particles are like neutrinos just streaming through the universe, and they get lodged in your brain. And sometimes it wasn't meant for my brain. It was meant for somebody else's brain. And so all you can do is give it a shot or release it back into the wild. And so that's kind of what I figure is like, I got an idea particle stuck in my brain. I don't know if it's for me.
I'm going to do it anyway, though.
And if I can't do it, like it was like, oh, I have a grand idea for a trilogy of novels, and I'm no writer. Here, I'll just post this idea. Somebody take it, because I can't.
If you ever want a ghostwriter, I'm a self-published author.
But I'm not. I've had ideas. My wife and I have done fanfic and that kind of thing, but skills have really atrophied over the years because I've been working with a writer, and he writes.
Fair.
I draw. Sometimes we collaborate on an idea. Sometimes, you know how it is, a conversation turns into a joke and it winds up in the strip. That happens. But in terms of like sitting down, I haven't had, and it's a little frustrating because I do have ideas for characters. I've got a whole pantheon of characters who come out every so often. I've got like since we're in the season, I've got like a pumpkin-headed fellow. I'm pretty sure his name is Ernest. There's sort of a scarecrow princess. There's lots of little ghoul children. And I've drawn them many times, but I don't know their story. And they haven't told me their story, so I'm just happily drawing them. But I haven't sat down to work on it either because, I don't know, it's frustrating because I do have what I think is a really good Harry Potter fanfic idea. And she's totally ruined that for herself. So
That's why you take the idea, do it anyway, and then just file the serial numbers off and then make it queer.
that's the problem with the serial numbers off, is because it's a post Hogwarts idea. So I would still have to, it builds on relationships and things. Again, maybe this is you as a writer would know how to file the serial numbers off. Maybe if I ever get it written, I'll be able to step back from it and see where I can make changes. Maybe I'll do NaNoWriMo this year for my Harry Potter fanfic. That maybe I can
Yeah.
wrestle control of the franchise from JKR and take it back into the light.
So you just do your own thing. The world needs more fun, interesting urban fantasy magic school stuff that's
Also,
not written by a turf.
I really subscribe to Hermione being black.
Yes.
I kind of have a headcanon that Harry is Indian British.
Okay.
I just think that would be really cool. There's no getting around the Weasleys. Except I did do a drawing of Weasley as an albino black kid, because they have that beautiful creamy skin tone and they often have red hair.
Okay.
I don't know if it's freckles or Vitalio or something. It made me feel good.
We may need to talk more about this later. We've gotten off track from art, but I do very much like this idea.
I get an idea, I draw it, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. But then I do forget about things I've drawn, because I just draw sort of constantly. And it's often not until something twigs me that I kind of go, oh, I drew something for that. And that's kind of become, I call them my Larchives. And so
I like
sort
it.
of like, people are like, did you just draw that? I'm like, no, I drew that 6 months ago. Your idea is catching up with my idea. And so
It's nice to have, I refer to it as like, I've got like my little bookshelf. I
yeah,
have a bookshelf that's got all these ideas on it. And one day I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that idea. Sometimes it takes a while to go from, I'm just sitting on the couch and something in the back of my brain says, hey, what if Macbeth in space? And then turning that into a book.
right? I have the luxury as a cartoonist, and being a caricaturist too, has made me a fairly quick artist. And again,
It's an impressive skill to be able to
yeah,
create those very stylized drawings in a short period of time and go from blank page to finished work.
but I mean, I've been doing this over 20 years. Digital, that is. I really feel I was, some people are born to be an oil painter or a watercolorist. I was born for digital art, digital cartooning. And so I've got all my files relatively at my fingertips. They're all on hard drive, and I've been trying to keep them semi-organized over the years. Every so often I have to go in and kind of go like, oh, I've got too many of these cartoons. I need to split it onto a fresh directory. And I've been getting into the habit over the past few years to not try and give things a clever name, like a title, but just to simply give them keywords of what's in the picture so I can search on them. Why, yes, I do happen to have Macbeth in space, for example. Like, yeah. I actually don't, but now I'm going to have.
Fun fact, it's set on a prison ship and the whole thing is cover up a prison break. Weird imagination is a fun thing to have.
It's a great thing to have, isn't it, Brianna? Yes.
It really is. I'd love to hear some stories of where random drawings from the past have turned into maybe a fuller story or got absorbed into another project.
Again, I draw so many random things. It is funny that something will sometimes come back in a weird way. For example, thinking seasonally, I've been reposting Halloween-y October things and realized I have a lot of Rocky Horror cartoons inspired by Rocky Horror Picture Show. And one thing I enjoy doing is I enjoy mimicking styles of cartoons I enjoy. And I'm a child of the 70s Hanna-Barbera. So I drew the Scooby-Doo gang in Rocky Horror.
Oh, that's so fun.
Freddy was Rocky. I did it. It was fun. I posted it. Somebody asked if I could get it on a t-shirt. I put it on Redbubble. I have a Redbubble. it's not a revenue thing. It's mostly for these moments when somebody says, I want that on a t-shirt. And then a lot of times they don't bother getting the t-shirt, but sometimes they do. And I sell a
Yeah.
t-shirt, hey, I made 32 cents. And then after a number of years, I suddenly sold like 100 shirts. I'm like, what the? Is there a glitch in the system? It's like somebody found it. It got reposted on a Rocky Horror thing in one particular place. And all those people went out and bought a shirt. Of course, then I got a cease and desist from Redbubble. And they took it down. I guess they hadn't noticed it before or something. I've since put it back up. And they've ignored it. It's like something will be there. And suddenly this is the thing.
It just takes off. It finds its niche. And then you get forcibly reminded that copyright laws are a thing, and certain people don't really like it when you mess up their stuff.
You know what? Usually it's fine because I'm just selling one. By the way, there's the art.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I feel like if you made like a couple changes to Scooby specifically in this picture, you could dodge a lot of like, oh, it's just a dog. That's not meant to be Scooby-Doo, even though you can kind of tell it's meant to be Scooby-Doo, but they can't prove.
It's that kind of silly thing where I've done recasting. It's funny too, because people will then see it and leap off and they kind of go, well, then who's Eddie? Who's Brad and Janet? Who's whatever? And usually I'm like, I've already thought about my part. I'm not drawing the whole cast. I've learned that lesson with Doctor Who. If you draw one doctor, you're drawing all the doctors. And after I think it was number 13, I'm kind of like, I'm not falling into this trap again. I did all the doctors as cute bunnies, just on an
That
impulse.
sounds delightful. But also, if it helps, like after 13, I think it's like they briefly go back to David Tennant as the Doctor, and then I'm blanking on his name. But yeah, I grew up on like Star Wars and Star Trek, but I got really into Doctor Who in college. I started watching it my freshman year in college, and oh my goodness, that is amazing art.
I used to have a weekly Twitch stream. I actually started with Ustream and then went to Twitch, and I only just stopped it a couple years ago just because there's so many more people who are trying to make it a thing. And I was just doing it once a week for shits and giggles, and I kept getting the email saying, hey, you should try and be an affiliate or a partner or whatever. It's like, I have a job. This is my playtime with the handful of people, the dozen or so who show up and chat and are watching other things at the same time. But there just seemed to be more competition for eyeballs. And I don't need, especially I had some webcomic artists who do Trash Heroes, which is a campaign. I believe I don't know which D20 system it is, but it's Alina Pete from Werrigate, it's Jeff Jacks from Questionable Content, it's Randy Mulholland from Something Positive, and also does the Sunday Popeyes. It's Peter Tchaikovsky, it's Raven. What's Raven's last name? Whatever. It's a bunch of artists, comic people. They've had a couple other people on, and they were doing it Friday nights, and they were sort of doing every other week. And I went, I want to watch their show too. I don't want to be online chatting. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need to do this. I'm not trying to make this a thing. They're making it a community. I'm just having fun. I can hop on or off if I need to. I'll give them not that they need it, but it really was. It was like, oh, sorry. I get people saying, sorry, I'm not tuning into you tonight. I'm watching Trash Heroes. And I'm like, don't worry. I'm watching Trash Heroes too.
Don't need to apologize. What do you think I'm doing tonight?
I'm doing fan art for their characters. They're hilarious and creative, and it was marvelous. And Alina's husband, partner, Lane, was doing the DMing, and he was brilliant at it.
I have made a note to check it out because
oh yeah,
you mentioned D20. I'm like, ooh, it's like tabletop gaming and comic art.
I must admit, I fell behind for personal reasons. I'm at that stage of like, I miss them, but I feel intimidated to go back because I've missed so much the adventures that
I get that.
It's like, oh shit, I've lost, and now I can't go back.
I get that, but that said, I have a knack for just absolutely like binge watching things. or binge listening to shows.
Yeah, I've lost that ability. It's a shame. I can't, especially because I need my eyeballs when I'm working. So I do enjoy
Fair.
podcast listening to YouTubes. But some things, if it's a new to me movie, I have to pay attention. So that's, and I find the trash heroes, I don't need to watch them so much, but I do enjoy also following along the chat. They do have stuff like that sometimes to help determine what's going to happen next. So, but mostly I just find their characters and their sense of humor so engaging that I should stop and I have to capture this moment and I do some fan art. I have to stop what I'm doing and draw the battle that's happening or the moment that this character had.
That is such high praise.
It's really fun too, because I will email it to them, and by the end of the show, they're like, "Lar sent us art," and then they share the art, and I really enjoy being able to participate in that way, even though I don't want them to feel obliged by any means to share my art if they don't want to, or to take away from their momentum, and I don't think they do, but I just love their characters. And I love their storytelling. And there have been a few times where Lane has messaged me ahead of time going, "Could you draw this monster for me?" And that was such a so that when they encountered something, he had a graphic for them.
Oh, that's fun.
We're all friends in the webcomics community. When I used to do more convention travel, I got to see them during conventions. That's the thing, is that they're still kind of coming off of convention season with New York City Comic Con just ending. So I don't know that they're back into regular shows again, but they've got everything on YouTube. And there again is that, like, I could go listen to it on YouTube. I really could. And I could catch up. And I just know I'm going to be 10 minutes into an episode kind of going, I got to stop working. I got to draw fan art. I have to draw Oogna, and I have to draw Uncle Perny, and I've got to draw, I've got to draw this monster they're fighting. It's all so engaging.
Thanks for listening to an unexpected art interview with Lar DeSouza, comic artist and caricature artist. Stay tuned to hear more of this 3-part interview. If you like what we're doing, you can follow us on social media and join the conversation over at An Unexpected Art Lesson on Threads, Blue Sky, and Substack. And you can also support us over on Patreon. Get early access to episodes and other fun things at patreon.com/anunexpectedartlesson.